Great to have you with us. Now, first story, lack of security posts and unmanned entry points on the Ghana-Togo-Burkina Faso borders in the Upper East region are fueling criminal activities there. Even for manned stations, inadequate logistics challenge the efficiency of officers in clamping down on criminal activities. Aside from smuggling of banned items, residents say armed robbery is rife and lack of collaboration among security officials makes it difficult to track and arrest criminals. In today's story, as part of our series on the state of Ghana's borders, Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin travels through 5 border towns investigating cross-border activities between Ghanaians and their counterparts in Togo and Burkina Faso.
Criminals capitalize on this porous entry point to commit all manner of illegality. Robbery is becoming the most widespread as residents recount their experiences.
So where I am standing is Ghana, but if you move a bit, some few steps away from where I am standing, up there is Togo. And this is exactly where residents say most crimes have been committed for the past few days, and they are not happy about the situation here.
Yeah, the incident that happened here is that one of our brothers came from Togo. He went to see one of our relatives there, and he's coming back, and 2 armed robbers just attack him by the river here. When they just cross him, they remove the gun.
This is one of 2 approved entry points, Pulumankum in the Pusiga district. Officers here declined to speak on record, but they say multiple unapproved entry points and lack of logistics for security personnel here remain the biggest challenge. Only 1 patrol vehicle is available for patrols at the entry points on a daily basis. This is Kulungungu, another approved entry point in the district. Everything here is done perfectly for travelers and vehicle owners. These long trucks carrying onions from Niger have to undergo lots of documentation to be allowed to enter Ghana. Both customs and immigration officials must be alert, as they always make sure checks are done properly on travelers. But just some meters away is another unapproved entry point, providing access to many foreigners who either ride or walk.
So the building you see behind me, these buildings, are in Burkina Faso, and far away from my extreme left is the border over there, the Burkina border. And so what happens here is that people can walk in and out of Kulungungu without passing through the border over there.
Last month we experienced this, and we follow a thief who ran inside here, that we can't go after him because he has already crossed the border, and because there's no security here, he can't just pass there. He passed here and walked to Burkina.
There are many unapproved routes both Ghanaians and foreigners use to ply their trade, legal or otherwise. On June 24, 2019, 3 police officers from Togo entered Ghana to arrest a suspected fraudster at Congo in the Timpani district. The officers did not seek any clearance or even collaborate with their Ghanaian counterparts. Reliable sources say the Togolese used one of the unapproved routes to enter the country. Angry residents of Congo attacked the officers and seriously injured one of them and seized the weapon of the other. The Togolese officer was hospitalized, and it took the intervention of Ghanaian security personnel to restore calm. The situation at Mognori in the Boko municipality is not different. These residents are also alert due to proximity to where gunmen from Burkina Faso were spotted a few months ago. They say empowering security personnel to man this area is paramount. This river separates Ghana from Burkina Faso. Just like many porous entry points in the Burkina area, There's a lot of free trade here, and all one needs to do is to be able to cross the river. These young men have taken it upon themselves to monitor and report any suspected individual. They spend almost 6 hours monitoring while helping others with their luggage to cross the river. Isaka Salifu is one of them.
Anytime we spot a suspected criminal, we inform the immigration officers so that they would come and arrest him.
Idrisu Salifu is a Burkinabe but collaborates with the Ghanaian counterparts to report any suspected criminals. Salifu has been working closely with his Ghanaian friends since the news of gun attack in Burkina Faso. From Wedana, Pulmankum, Pulungugu, Bimpela, Mognori, and all other border entry points, both approved and unapproved, the spirit of West African integration comes to life. People walk across the borders to and from Ghana, Burkina Faso, and Togo. This can, however, be the Achilles heel of a region grappling with security concerns because criminals explore porous borders to commit crime. There are reported cases of armed robbery along the borders in the Boko area. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin for Joy News.
Now we stay with the subject because the Deputy Interior Minister has been speaking. He says some persons trying to enter the country illegally have been arrested in the past few months. Maxwell Agbagba has been listening to him and will be speaking to him very shortly. In the meantime, there are calls for an independent probe after the Forestry Commission denied claims in an investigative report that its officials are taking bribes to allow for illegal exports of rosewood. The report by US-based not-for-profit organization Environmental Investigation Agency EIA claimed, among others, that the director of the Wildlife Division of the Commission was taking percentages of illegally exported rosewood to allow the illegal trade to thrive. Here are excerpts of the investigative piece.
Many of the traffickers we spoke to outright admitted to us how they're using bribes. All of this is possible because there's corruption at every level, including the Forestry Commission.
I'll go to Nana. He is the Nana Eduse. He is the overall boss of the scientist. He's in charge. I just go to him, then I'll just sit down one-on-one with him. Maybe I go to his house. Maybe we can meet in a joint somewhere. We have some dinner together, some lunch together. Then I'll discuss with him. That's how I do my business. I'll make him understand that maybe on every container, I'll give this to him.
Give him a percentage?
Yeah.
So with him, there's no requirement of documents. He just says, issue it. Yeah. They will just issue it.
Just order them to issue it, then he'll sign.
EIA investigators obtained a copy of a CITES permit for rosewood destined for China, which was issued on the 15th of May, 2019, long after the ban on export was issued. We have evidence that this permit was issued even after the container with the logs had already arrived in China.
Now, the Forestry Commission has denied claims, throwing a challenge to the EIA to provide more evidence. Head of Corporate Affairs as the Commission, Joyce Ofoyikwafo, spoke earlier on News Desk.
Nana Kofi Adunsia was the former executive director of the Wildlife Division. He is on retirement at the moment. So when this issue came up, we quickly called him. A committee was set up to investigate this issue. Now, when we called him, he denied any involvement with any illegal operator. And he even went ahead to throw a challenge to anyone who has a proof of his involvement in any illegality to come forward and prove that. That was what he told us. Now, for BBC or EIA, for EIA to come up with such a report, it means they have also done their investigations. So we have still thrown a challenge to EIA the individuals involved to come up with any proof against Nana Edwinsian. But then we have so much trust in Nana Edwinsian because he has worked with the Forestry Commission for over 35 years. He rose through the ranks to become the executive director. And if you know what it means to become an executive director in Forestry Commission, you will know the sort of people who are able to rise to that position. We have only 3 executive directors in the commission. So it means that we have some form of confidence in Nana Edwinsia, the former executive director of the Wildlife Division.
Away from that story, 4 Indian businessmen and 2 Ghanaians have been seized in a dawn operation by armed national security operatives at Ahojo in the Ashanti region. The 13 armed operatives, some of whom were wearing khaki uniforms, seized 2 bags full of cash, 13 mobile phones, gold nuggets, and other gadgets. Though the Regional Police Command confirms awareness of the national security team, it says details of the operations and arrest are unknown to the command. Erastus Asaridonko has these details and joins us on the phone with more. Erastus, why were they arrested?
At the moment, there is no explanation to why they were arrested because my BNI sources are saying that they are not aware of the operation. My national security sources are saying they are also not aware at the local level of that operation. It is only the Regional Police Command that confirmed that indeed they had information that the team is in Kumasi to conduct a special operation, but even details of that operation have not been given to the command.
What do we have?
Right now, we do know from the occupants of the house that when they stormed the house, they were wearing khaki trousers, similar to the dressing similar to the ones they were wearing in the Ayawaso saga. 2 of them were wearing uniforms with the inscription GNFS. I'm supposed it means that the Ghana National Fire Service, 2 of them, and they broke into the house. And then the others, one was wearing a T-shirt with the inscription of the Ghana Police Service at the breast area. So they stormed the house, asked all of them, gathered all of them at the hall, and then took their mobile phones, wrote their names behind them, asked for their passwords, and they wrote their passwords as well. Then they disconnected the CCTV cameras and took the footage together with them. They took cash, physical cash, 2 duffel bags full of cash from the Indian businessman's office, and brought that one as well and took them away together with the 4 Indian gold dealers and their 2 Ghanaian accomplices who stay in that particular house.
So, Erastus, they broke into the house, i.e. they entered without permission, and then they took the CCTV footage.
Exactly. The lady told me that one of them asked him, in fact, they started banging on the door, and they asked him to open the door. And if they do not open the door, they are going to force the door down. So he wanted to notify his employers first, the Indian businessmen. And so when he left the door, then they broke into the house and started accusing her of trying to obstruct their business. And so they disconnected the CCTV, took the footage, and took all their mobile phones as well.
Erastus, you mentioned that some of these are gold dealers. What more do we know about these people? Who are they?
I do understand that they've been buying gold. So they set up an office in this particular building. They said the name of the company is RIA Gold Resources, and it belongs to these Indian businessmen. They've been operating for 6 years in this particular location. They buy gold from small-scale miners within that location. And so one of the small-scale miners who was going to sell this gold to them, his gold nuggets were seized by them. They arrested him at a point. They let him go. And then they gave him a paper. On the sheet of paper, it's written description of offense, gold smuggling. And then they've indicated the value of the gold on this sheet that was given to him. And he said he was not given any further contact as to how he's going to get his gold back.
Do we know the amount written on it, the value?
Well, it says 1.73 pounds of gold nuggets, and then 1.73 pellets of gold nuggets. That's what is indicated on the paper. But I do understand they took some gold and some undisclosed amount of cash together with other gadgets from the Indian businessman's office.
Thank you, Rasta Sardonko. He is with Love FM in Kumasi. Let's head south now. And a delegation from the Ghana Police Service is heading to the Western Region capital, Takoradi, to meet families of the 3 missing Takoradi girls. The visit follows the family's decision to cooperate with the police to provide samples for forensic DNA analysis. You will recall the families of the 3 girls, especially the father of Priscilla Mantibia Kranche, Alexander Kranche, told Joy News that they could not avail themselves to the police for any DNA tests because he could not trust them. But the spokesperson for the families, Michael Grant Hayford, said they are all now willing to cooperate with the police in providing samples for forensic analysis. Meanwhile, the police says it will consider the family's request to allow an independent forensic analyst to be present during the analysis. ACP David Eklu is the Director General of Public Affairs at the Ghana Police Service.
We understand their pain. We understand their frustrations because it has taken a very long time and the case has been going back and forth. So we understand their frustration, but I believe that their cooperation will help us unravel the mysteries surrounding the whole case, and it is very critical in it. We do understand their cooperation, their frustration, but we hope that they would cooperate with this aspect, critical aspect. This is a very critical aspect of our investigation to be able to get to the bottom of the matter. Some of these issues happen here. The presence of the family, the involvement of the family in homicide or suicide, homicide cases is very critical. So we have listened to them and we'll look at it and see and come up with the best option that will satisfy both sides, the law, the legal side, and then the family side. So our regulations, when somebody breaks jail whilst in the police custody, those on duty are given the mandatory 10 days to recapture the suspect. And they have done that. A committee was set up by the regional police command to look into the culpability of the officers who are concerned. I can't get the full report now, but I will check and find out the status of that case.
Now to our media freedom campaign. Founder of the Africa University College of Communication, Kujo Anka, has described the treatment of the media under the Akufo-Addo administration as barbaric and retrogressive. In an exclusive interview with Kujo Anka, former editor-in-chief of the Daily Graphic newspaper, said he is disappointed in the president's performance in the area of upholding media freedom.
People went into the streets and fought against the culture of silence. And for me, history repeats itself. If the state does not act, the people will act. It's a question of time because, see, you cannot silence people in this world now, today. If you want to take steps to silence people, you are mistaken. Why don't you become more open? Why don't you become more transparent? Why don't you, put out the news there and let people have, if you don't have anything to hide, come on, open up. But defend yourself when the media criticize or say anything against you. Don't go after them. It's barbaric. It's retrogression. You see, because otherwise then you realize that there is a deliberate effort to use the state police or state security to stop people, not just the media, to stop people from making their voices heard. And I'm saying that is short-lived. History has shown that that cannot last. One day you will get an uprising and you will not understand why it is coming, but it's coming from some of these things. So I think that it's a sad period in Ghana's media history, but I'm from history. I realize that this is not going to last because there are people that at the end of the day will rise up. Why did we have, there are a lot of politicians who came to power because they were fighting against the culture of silence. History can repeat itself.
The current president is an example.
Sure, it's an example. Professor Dubois-Hini was an example. They all stormed into the limelight because of that. What prevents another group of people to do the same? History repeats itself. I mean, you don't... Where we were going, or where we, freeing the media and allowing people to talk, we should just let it go and allow the state machinery to defend themselves if they have any defense. Why not? I mean, if somebody goes to defame, we have laws. But to stop or to frighten journalists, it's a dangerous, track to follow, in my opinion.
Meanwhile, founder and president of the Worldwide Miracle Outreach, Rev Dr Loe, is calling on the clergy to collaborate with journalists in the discharge of their duties. The international evangelist believes this will help foster unity and promote a freer media space. His comments come on the back of an alleged attack on a Daily Graphic reporter by some congregants of Glorious Wave Church International at Sakomono. He spoke exclusively to Joy News on the sidelines of a summit in Accra organized by the Heritage and Cultural Society of Ghana to commemorate the Year of Return.
We are supposed to work in collaboration. As a matter of fact, what is journalism? Transparency, dissemination of information, so we can all come to understanding of the fact that we need to be informed. When one does not respect journalism, he falls short of even what we call enlightenment. So the clergy, the journalists, and the news forecasters, we have to come together in a united front so we can inform our community. So for me, this place is a public place, the church is a public place, even your bedroom is a public place. Today, because of social media, everything is a public place. Do you know how many people are watching our phone now? As we speak today, you'll be surprised where somebody is hidden, spying on us and listening to us. So we need to guard our lives well. We need to live our life well. We need to do things right so that we will not be scared when somebody is unfolding, unveiling what we do in secret. And what I'll say is that what is not right is not right. It just doesn't have to be a journalist. You don't have the right to attack anybody. I don't have the right to attack you. You don't have the right to attack me. Nobody has the right to attack a pastor, and a pastor doesn't have the right to attack a journalist. We should live in a cohesive manner where we can understand and respect the rule of law. And so what is not right is not right. Whether it's a journalist or even a farmer or a taxi driver, nobody should take the law in their hands to attack anybody.
The hashtag remains Defend Media Freedom. Now, a Vice President of Liberia, Dr. Jewel Howard Taylor, has charged Africans to work hard to fight corruption and other vices on the continent. Madam Howard Taylor believes minimizing and eradicating these vices would go a long way to erase the stereotypes about the continent. She spoke at a summit in Accra organized by the Heritage and Cultural Society of Ghana to commemorate the Year of the Return.
We can let it be known then that by the unmatched progress and advances achieved, Africa ceased to be known as a dark continent. That wars, famine, disease, hatred, poverty, inequality, corruption, and mismanagement no longer stunted our progress and development, but that we became instead the guiding light that brightened the consciousness of the world and change the course of humanity for the better. Yes, we can let it be known that in world affairs, Africa assumed her deserved and rightful place around the family table of the world at the United Nations.
Meanwhile, daughter of Ghana's first president, Samia Nkrumah, says Africans should leverage the successes chalked by its forebears to achieve economic independence. She spoke on the sidelines of the event.
It's also a year for us, Africans in the mother continent, to understand why we have to work together and think together with Africans all over the continent and all over the world. Lest we forget, it is the Pan-African movement, thoughts, principles that made our independence struggle quicker and faster. It gave it an impetus. And if the last century was the century of independence, this century for Africans must be the century for unity and economic independence.
Now, the British High Commissioner to Ghana, Ian Walker, is embarking on a 1,000-kilometer bike ride to raise funds in support of the plastic surgery and burns unit at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. The 10-day ride, dubbed the Ghana Grand Tour, will see the diplomat ride through Ashanti region and end in the Volta region. Ian Walker's first visit within minutes of touching down in Tamale was to a place called Sama Sama. This project, founded by a Brit Ghanaian, the project manufactures specially designed toilets for use by the indigenous people of this part of the country. During the visit, we'll go on the phone lines now and speak with Kujo Anka. Pardon me on that. Kujo, what's the latest there?
Well, Daniel, the journey has really kick-started in style. The High Commissioner paid a visit to Sama Sama. This is an organization that is into the creation of flush toilets for rural communities here in the northern part of Ghana. So far, they've built toilets for over 30,000 people and counting. Now, the founder of this project is a lady who has British and Ghanaian citizenship. Her name is Valerie Labi. She decided in 2015 to start this project. And it appears to be growing in strength, especially with the support of international donors like IDE Canada, forgive me. Now, their CEO, Stuart Taylor, has been speaking to me about the journey that has brought Sama Sama to where it is today as a very viable project, providing sanitation solutions to the people of Tamale.
Thank you very much, Kujo, for joining us with that. Now, coming up in business, teacher unions reject insurance policy put together by State Insurance Company and the Ghana Education Service.